So welcome everybody to the third episode of
Off
the Cup.
Off the cup.
And we've got a lot of good updates. And ones that I'm looking through, I'm like, never heard of this one. So it's really going to be off the cup today. But I do believe we should do quick intros. I'm Melissa Benson, and I'm coming from Minnesota, and I'm the collaborative community lead. Eric, who are you?
Hello, friends. My name is Eric Sizemore. I am from Oklahoma, and that's where I'm coming to you live today from. I am here at CDW Amplified for Education and Academy. What do we call them? Trainer? I don't know. I basically travel around and show you how to use the admin console. So, hello, happy Friday. Football's back.
That's right. Speaking of, I'm Andrea coming to you live from Grand Rapids, Michigan, the West Coast home. Oh, West Coast. No, we're not West Coast. West Side. Love of Detroit, about 2 hours away. Rocking the Lions because we won last night. We put them reigning Super Bowl champs down. I won, which I was telling Carl too. I was like, I would rather win by a lot, but don't let me lose by a field goal. And I won by 1 point. He texted me last night. He was like, well, I was like, I'll take it. It's super disrespectful, but we got it done. So yeah, and I'm the labs onboarding and engagement consultant. So those are my babies. So you'll see me around a lot. All right. Let's talk about some tech things before we go back to talking smack. But if you are watching and live and you got the chat going, I will be happy to talk smack with you any day. We got a little bit of smack talk going on the Friday Funsies in the collaborative. So head over there to chime in on that as well.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Talking smack about favorite TV shows?
Well, Mark was like, I only really watch NFL. And I was like,
oh, got it. All right.
I took my opportunity where I get them around here.
All right. Well, the first thing that I want to talk about is just some takeaways from the meetups that we did. So yesterday was the Texas meetup, and that was the 7th meetup of the 7 summer meetups. I just wanted to give a few takeaways and great questions that came out of those meetups around the hottest topic of the summer, not Taylor Swift.
No,
not Beyonce.
Not Beyonce.
API controls. Because we haven't talked about them enough. But I did want to just clarify some things, and then I wanted to ask you both about some question, a specific question yesterday I had, and I didn't get an answer from our support, so I just wanted to throw it out there. But with the API controls and the change that's coming in October with basically Google in June, they sent all of us admins an email saying there's going to be some changes for those users under 18, and there's new API controls, and then we have to do this confirm thing by October 23rd of 2023. And they already made some changes. So 3 quick takeaways I wanted to say again, and people are going to be sick of me saying this, but the terminology, the verbiage, configuring and confirming.
It's confusing. Like, I've heard you say this many times, and I still feel like I need you to say it again, because I will look at it a week from now and still be confused at what I'm looking at.
Okay, so hopefully we can clarify for you.
Yeah.
When it comes to configuring and confirming, and I think Fred is the one who coined this. I like that there's 2 separate things.
Yeah.
Admins need to configure an OAuth app trusted list.
Correct.
So we've got to go in there and approve, trust, just like we trust a Chrome app or extension. We just have to do it to a new app in the API controls. Yeah. Now, a lot of schools have already started doing that, and some people have flipped the switch already and gone towards, blocking everything and then approving, trusting. So that is something that everybody has to do. You configure a trusted list of your OAuth apps for your under 18. And that does need to be done first.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that, it's a long process, but when you do that and get that big list, you can also bulk upload those.
Mm-hmm.
But once you do that, there is a second thing that Google is making you do that's new. And that is going through that stepper. So all of you admins, when you go into that banner that shows on the main page, it says get started, it's blue. When you go in the API controls, there's a banner. I think I maybe made this up, but I say that's the stepper.
I think it is a stepper. Yeah.
It is? Okay, good. Good. So we'll say it's the stepper. We've got to get stepping. So we click on get started and you go through that stepper. And on that last page, there's the page that says, that's got confirmed and unconfirmed tabs. Now that first configuring or approving your OAuth apps, you got to do that first.
Right.
Got to configure them first for them to even show up there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In the configured list.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then you have to do the confirm step of selecting those either one at a time or all at once. And you have to confirm those app settings.
Oh, that's right. I did forget as a separate, you have to select all. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how do you describe that confirm step? Like, what is that? What's the difference between configure and confirm, Eric?
I look at it as okay. So let me see if I can communicate this in a way that makes sense. Configure, confirm. Confirm is the way I see configuration is what we've always done, right? So, for example, if you had already done this previously, right? Because we've been, teaching about API controls for a while now. It's just only recently have we had this push. Google's kind of doing some lifting for us, but if you've managed your API controls previously by configuring them with designations such as trusted or blocked, or by default, right, they come in as limited, that has been configuring the entire time, of which there was no such thing as a confirmation because it wasn't required or necessary.
Yep.
Now, and the piece that's making all this world start moving again is not the configuration piece. That's always been there. It's the confirmation piece that now is required by Google, essentially saying, hey, we know you've done this work. We need you to just go ahead and confirm to us that, yeah, you went ahead and did it. So confirmations for you, I'm sorry, the configurations more for you and yours. Confirmations a lot more for Google in a lot of ways, because once that's confirmed, then what you configured is full go, right?
So I guess here's my question though. Like if a school has been going through this, or they're getting a late start because they weren't even aware of it and they haven't started yet, and they go through that confirmation step and they've only got like half of their list, what happens after they confirm it? They still obviously able to continue to configure apps. It's just like at that point in time, Google's like, yep, these guys were good to go. We're done with trying to help you stop the bleed, and whatever is going to happen after 23rd happens after the 23rd. Like, that's not going to prevent them from continuing to configure apps, or it's not going to be like Google's like, no. During that stepper, these 5 apps weren't there.
No. Okay. And with that confirm step, I have been explaining it as when you go into your additional services and you turn on Google Arts and Culture, you get a prompt, right?
Yeah.
There's an extra step. You have to confirm because it's not a core service. And so Google is saying, hey, admin, we're doing a CYA legally on art. These users under 18. Did you get their parent and guardian signature? I am confirming that, yes, I have got that signature for Google Arts and Culture.
Yeah.
Yes. That is exactly what's happening with the OAuth apps. It just so happens we're doing them all at once for now. However,
retroactively, essentially.
Right, exactly. Okay. However, if you were go into your, what'd you say?
I don't remember which word it was.
That was good.
I'm
impressed. Yeah,
I'm impressed with myself.
I will take.
Hold on, I gotta get more. I gotta put my coffee in my cup. Hold please.
Yeah. But if you were to go to your API controls and add a brand new app and trust it, now in that workflow, that confirm step is in the new workflow. So in the end, when you have confirmed all of those apps from the legacy, that stepper is going to be no more, because you are going to do that confirm step in that normal workflow, signing off on that piece. That's also the Lelena from support said that is one of the top common confusions or questions. So just knowing configuring a trusted list, confirming, those are two different steps. So those people who were ahead of the game of flipping the switch, you're still ahead of the game, but you can't sit back. You're gonna be in a world of trouble if it's the 23rd and you didn't do anything. Now it's super easy, right? You just go ahead and confirm.
And let's confirm this again, because I'm not 100%
Wait, let's confirm this again.
If by the 23rd you're like, oh, I gotta do that, and then network goes down, whatever, you forget, or you just don't do it, and you go and it passes the 23rd. What do we say happens? Does it go and undo all of the configurations that you've done?
No.
What happens? Do we know?
No. Well, I would suggest.
I mean, I don't risk it because we don't know. But like, if something happens,
you know what? What day is that? What day of the week?
Monday? Is it a Monday?
I feel like it's a Monday.
It is a Monday.
Yeah.
I would I don't know. What do you think? Do we do the?
I mean, I don't hear a or else like in there.
No, you do. Yeah, you do. If you don't do those two steps, your students will not be able to log into those.
Correct. Like if you're doing the configuring part, obviously, but if you don't do the confirmation part,
there's an or else. Is it
an or else? Like
both of them need to be done. Yeah.
So the stepper itself probably won't go away, but you're gonna get your life ruined a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to get calls, but then you get to be the hero, because then you say, let me take a look, and then just...
Yeah, easy win right there.
Yeah. Maybe hold a few back.
Maybe don't push it to the end. Don't be an Andrea to procrastinate until 11:59 on the 23rd.
Yeah.
So it's speaking to that and referencing back to the meetups that you mentioned earlier, Melissa. We in the breakout room I was in yesterday, there were actually two people in there. Andrea, you may have been in there with me, that actually had two ideas I didn't think were that crazy. Right?
Okay.
I think one of them was this goes more in line with what is your process, right? Right now it feels like it's just all fire hose, like fire drill kind of stuff, and so your process now for vetting thousands of apps, hundreds of apps may be different than the process you employ vetting apps as they come in past the 23rd, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the ideas I heard from one of our Texas collab people was their process that they were going to be employing, at least now, and granted they may be of a certain size that allows them to do it this way, is like they were just going to go, hey, if we have any apps that have users below a certain threshold, we're just not even going to worry about those, kind of thing. And so they're going to let the 23rd roll over, and they're going to let the date of the 23rd tell them which of those apps were consequential or not, basically. Does that make sense? So the fact that they're using 50 as their threshold number, they're going to say, we're not going to worry about anything that's below that number. It's just too small for us. And then when the 23rd happens, if they have anyone that's going to yell about an app not working, well, now they know to focus and spend time on it, because because they're not confident that of all the apps they have with under 50 users, considering the size of their school, that any of those apps are even being used. Or should they be used even, kind of thing.
And it's not a bad process. Like, I think, what was the other guy? He was like, I'm just going to block all on the 24th. And I was like,
it's a little more riskier, but it would still serve
depending on your district size, if you're super small and it's just, you don't have the bandwidth, then that's a good way to figure out what people actually need versus potentially ever used. I do find it interesting, and I think hopefully Google fixes this, is that 15K limit for configured apps. And the fact that you can't, I think the terminology here is what throws me off, as someone's like, you can't unconfigure an app.
Well, first,
to me, like, you would just block it then, right? Like, that way you're not allowing it. It's just blocked.
It is configured, right?
It is. So
technically, yeah.
So that's the question. That's the question. Is another question that gets asked. What does configured mean?
Right.
It means it's either trusted, blocked, or limited.
Right.
And limited, you probably have a whole bunch of configured limited because Google
that's
did
what
that for
Google
us.
So
Um,
I think it would probably be better for Google to flip those limits on maybe trusted or trusted limited, so that way they actually go and do it. Because if otherwise, if you have your extra large schools and Google did that whole stop bleeding, now like you're at your 15K because you're
Right,
considered blocked
but you can't.
configured.
That's the problem is you can't unconfigure
Right.
it.
That's
Like,
what I'm saying. Like Google needs to address that part of
oh
it
yeah,
because
yeah,
they're
yeah.
considering blocked configured, which technically under the terminology, which I'm not a dictionary, but like you guys just said, counts as configured.
Yeah,
But
I
you
would.
gotta
It's
limit
I would
that.
definitely consider it configured.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
limit that 15K to something more specific, I think, than to do everything. So otherwise, yeah, I can see districts hitting that pretty rapidly.
I have a question. Eric, you said something. Remind me if an OAuth app has not been used in 6 months, 7 months, do they ever drop to 0 in the user count? Or
I
not?
think
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't until they
Yeah, I don't
revoke.
think it drops that. I think was it you that put in the chat yesterday, Eric, that you think that it's users who are not there anymore, their accounts are disabled or deleted. That's how you get the 0 users.
Well, and that was another question I was going to ask from yesterday is, and this isn't the first time we've heard about it, but about half of the accessed apps, that's a lot, have 0 users. Now that can happen if access
For the blocks would make sense, right? Because then nobody can use it. So you'd have 0 users using it.
Yes. Can we just block these without concern? Yes.
I mean, if they're in a block state, can users still request it or no?
Say that again.
If they're listed as blocked, do the users still have the ability to request it?
Yes. Under 18. Under 18.
Right. Under 18 until Google fixes that other part. But that to me, that would almost be a good way to see if someone's actually needing it too. If you got 0 users and you block them, then if somebody asks for it and it's warranted, then go for it.
And if there's 0 users and we don't want, if there's 0 users, you wish that you could just say re-inherit, unconfigure, be totally blank, but we can't.
Right.
Therefore, for us to see all those limited ones that Google did, we can't rely on the main OAuth app for what happens to unconfigured apps anymore, because once it's limited, it's configured and it's available.
Mm-hmm.
So this means that you have to go into those configured apps, and if you don't want your students to be using those, you can't rely on that main setting. The ones that were touched already, you have to go in there and block them.
For those, I wonder, like if you were to look in the investigation tool or the audit log for one of those that has 0, is there any history on it ever that says somebody potentially? Well, it's not really showing.
I bet so.
Right?
Yeah. So the ones that have 0 users, I feel like you would be safe.
Yeah, I feel
block
like
those
because they can still request it. And obviously, even if staff can't request it, you're going to get a request somehow, whether it be a ticket or an email or something. It just won't be right there on their screen.
Yeah. And if there's 0 users, that means nobody's actively using it. Now, like yesterday they could have revoked it, or I don't know. I'm not sure. This Texas one may have been if they did delete users. I don't know why there's so many. I can see. I know
that there's so many. You said it was like half of their stuff was at 0.
Yeah.
I am wondering about account state too, because over the summer, a lot of people will disable accounts. Will it show active users in a disabled?
And he may. Did he say that he did revoke them? I think that may have been, yeah. But I think the bottom line is if you see 0 users, there's a couple different reasons why there could be 0. But I think
I don't see a problem with it.
I do too, especially now, especially if you've started school already, right? Like, and I think I don't know. I don't think
Mhm.
all of us have, but a good majority of us
I
have.
think pretty much everybody
Yeah.
has.
We're
I think-
September 8th. We're probably at
Yeah,
least a month
Wednesday,
in for most of
Thursday,
us.
yeah.
I mean, if you got 0 apps showing up, then people clearly are not re-authenticating into those if you did
Mhm.
originally revoke those
Right.
tokens, because that would then increase their numbers back again, because the audit log would then reflect 6 months of recent
Well,
information. So
and what I would do is I just take a couple of those and look in the OAuth audit log and
Mhm.
see, right? Like
Yeah.
you can see 6 months, and so even if the user was deleted, it'd still be there. So that
Mhm.
would be
yes.
What did Chad
Yeah.
create a script for? I laughed when you were saying that yesterday.
Yeah. So to put a bow on this one, because on September 14th, Chad and I are spending an hour and a half for the September deep dive on this. But one of the things that we have found is, as people are flipping the switch, Google App Script for those techie teachers
Mhm.
that are using scripts, and a lot of times they're untitled and it's got their cool workflow and formulas and all
Mhm.
that. Well, how many users does it have? Certainly under 50.
Right.
Your guys is a great idea, right? And not realizing that is essential to that teacher. You can see some of those. I thought we were all set because I'm like, oh, Chad, you can go into the Google services, the scope, and there's a Google app script scope. You can see the apps, but he said not every app script will be in that list for whatever reason. Not quite sure, but he said that doesn't get them all. And he's talked with Google about this, and Google gave him a couple ways to do it, getting the ID and scrolling this, and he's like, I don't. So he made a script. I don't know. He made some sort of app script to find the scripts.
Well, I know, like mine on an example school, Stephen had made it for me for my assignments for my classrooms. It was called Project Make Look Busy. And it was marked as blocked. And I was like, sir, I think that was probably when we were going through and just blocking those, probably because I think it only shows one. It would just have been like his or my user doing it, like authorizing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chad has a script that we're going to give everybody on the 14th. And we're really going to dive into demoing, role playing, starting to create the trusted list. We're going to download the sheet. We're going to get the different tabs. We're going to get the new tab with the formula to get the unique ID, and then upload. Oh no, we ran into this issue. Or, oh no, there's 2 users and I'm one of the users, and
Right.
it's GAM.
Yeah.
Going through
about
actually
Yeah.
the steps where we run into these granular questions.
Well, and so we can probably table my other question because I don't know if it was a new one. I didn't see it before when I was doing it. So when you go into configure it and you have the trusted, limited, blocked, under trusted now, there's like a checkbox for allow list or exemption from API access blocks and context aware access. I have no idea what that one sentence means. That one sentence has spun me for 2 days now. So I don't understand that, probably because I don't know too much about context aware. If they don't have context aware set up, though, that's not something that they have to worry about. It's basically the thing, right?
One, it's a paid for feature.
Right.
And 2, if they don't use context aware,
then it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Then I don't need to understand that right now, but at some point I probably will, because I'm sure as more people get there are, from my certification, I remember a little bit at this point still, there was really good use cases for context aware. So at some point I'll probably need to understand that, so we can table that for right now. But for the moment with my
it allows, Go for Chrome to be used in any context, even if there is a context aware rule on it.
Got you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then. Easy peasy. All right. So final words on that one is definitely come next week if this is something that you're still working on, so that way they can go through the whole process with you. That's the 14th at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
I will be watching that as well, because like I said, we've talked about it until we're blue
Blue
in the face.
in the face.
But I swear you'll look at
Yeah.
this and either some verbiage will get tweaked or Google will come up with a new thing for it. So it's not a bad thing just to keep tabs on because who knows, like I said, what that's going to look like after the 23rd.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's just to end it on this. It's probably the biggest single change occurring in our admin console since storage. So
yeah, it's a big
when was storage? Because when was the age-based setting?
that was before
before
storage,
That
then.
was
Yeah.
that was before. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
3 successive major changes: age-based
changes,
access, storage, API controls.
Yes.
And those.
All right. So on to some updates, Melissa. Let's go with your other update that you wanted to talk about that you saw that was cool.
This came out on Tuesday. Lock files more easily in Google Drive.
So help
And
me
then-
understand this. I don't think I've ever locked a file in Google Drive. Like, what's
But
the
have you
use cases?
popped one?
Oh, I've popped a lot.
Okay.
Lock and
And
drop
then
it.
Eric's gonna drop some knowledge.
That's
soon.
right. All right, so I'm popping one. How about you lock it for us?
Wait, sorry, I was laughing at my own joke.
I know,
Lyrics
that's
in
just-
the head. So I'm popping this one. So what? First of all, why would you lock a file? Tell me a use case for why you would lock.
Well, I was-
if it's
I
in
was-
your drive and it's not shared with anybody.
I was going
Why
to
would you
ask
lock it?
you all if there were use cases. Now, I've got my own. Locking a file, and they say more easily because locking the file via API has been possible for more than a year or so. Because I remember I was all hype about this, and Gigi used the API and locked files. I'm like, oh, what can we do? Like, what can we use this for? And like approval or something or another, this or that. Now the update is you're going to now be able to do that on the GUI, on the interface.
Mhm.
So we can actually use it now. So the concept isn't new. What I'm thinking,
So this is if you've actually already shared the file. This isn't like just one that you're working on privately between you. Like there's no need for that. This is if you've actually shared it out and you want to lock it so nobody can touch it basically until you're ready.
well, or if you're working on it by yourself and you don't trust yourself and you're like, I'm going to lock this. I'm going to give myself no. But yeah, no,
Depending on what
in
time
the
it is,
context
yeah.
of locking, it means that it's going to be like with a group. Like maybe it is a new policy doc. And
Yeah.
I don't, this is all additions, which
Is
I'm
it?
very surprised. And I don't have I don't have plus edition. So I don't have file approval, the doc approval workflow where I can work on the policy doc. It needs to go to Eric next because he's the fire marshal or whatever.
Right.
And then it has to be signed off. Nobody else really can edit it. We need to make sure. And then it's all in the audit log and everything like that. Now, let's say you don't have that nice little system. This could be where I have the policy doc and I want you all to review it, but I want to ensure that you don't make any changes, whether it's on accident or on purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
So you go through and review, but it should not be edited until X, Y, and Z happens. Then I can unlock it.
That makes sense then.
So locking a file make sure reviewers can't change a file. Edits, comments, and suggestions can't be added to locked documents. Okay, so then it's
comment on it. Yeah. So
yeah.
You're making your notes somewhere else, and then
Or
once
maybe
you
you're
say
not
it, go
even.
for it. Yeah.
Update simplifies the streamlined process for restricting files in Drive. What other? I mean, doesn't locking technically happen in the back end with Classroom when you hand it in as a student? Isn't that?
I would have to test. I don't believe so though, because they still own it.
Yeah, but doesn't it do some finagling in the back that puts it into a state where they can't edit it?
I don't believe so.
Eric?
I'd have to test that though.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because once they submit this assignment, how do they couldn't recall it back? So it's
Yeah. And then but obviously if it's in a lock state, teachers can't comment on it or make any grading things that way.
Oh, so maybe it's sneakily switch as the owner. I'm not sure. So side. Eric, does anything being able to lock a file, does that fill your cup, or does that
You got anything to
I
drop
don't.
on that?
I don't know if I have a good education use case. I have a great personal use case for this.
Okay,
Though.
let's hear it.
So my brother and one of our friends, we have a dynasty fantasy football league that's been running for about 9 years now, and we
Okay.
have a constitution that serves our fantasy football league. Okay, built it in
I
Google
love this
Docs.
so much already.
And we have a 10-person league and we all get votes and everything like that. But I don't want people going in there and changing how you can trade or changing how we score points, right?
Yeah.
So locking that file to where it's only opened at the time of year where we do changes to it, I think that's great.
That's
Useless in
actually,
education, but for the fantasy league of Trinity Football League, we're going to be great.
it said everybody, so consumers too then, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Eric's like, this is
No. Available to all Google Workspace customers. Workspace means
So probably should just the
all workspace would be even consumer workspace, right? Because that's what
they say. They don't say. Okay.
I think so. I mean, just because you're not an addition, you're still workspace. You would just be.
Okay.
My little ball doesn't move with
Well,
me. But
did it say it released yet? Because I'll just test it right now. Let me switch profiles.
And this is there
profiles.
There's no admin control feature.
Refresh this tab.
Yeah, Rob in the chat said, I feel it's more of a just making sure you want to make the change rather than I don't want people to make the change.
You can lock it personally.
Yeah.
So maybe this would be a good thing just for you, Andrea. Like you want to make sure that you
listen,
you got to have that extra click and be purposeful.
Yeah.
FedEx is here, y'all. I'm going to
go get it.
I'm gonna go get this thing. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Skip mine. I'll come back on mine, all right?
Okay. All right. While he's talking about that, because mine is also one that can be used across personal and paid and managed. Smart chips. So we all know we're a fan of chips and queso, chips and salsa, chips and guac.
Yeah.
Smart chips is something obviously we know is in Google Docs and Google Sheets. We had a debate, an inquiry yesterday about chips, about like which ones are free,
which kind is the best.
Only.
Yeah.
So the chips that are in Google Docs are plus feature only. The chips that are in Sheets,
well, not all of them.
See, and I thought the same too. I thought it was just a stopwatch that was a plus feature.
Yeah, not all of them.
Okay, so some of them it's a little dicey when you get to Docs. Sheets is open. Smart Chips is now coming to chat, and this will be something that is across all managed accounts and personal Google accounts. So you'll be able to use this if you guys are using Google Chat on your personal life as well. Now, I got less excited about this as I read more into it, but it's a good start. It's a good building block for Google. You're able to use your @ and then you can drop it for the files. So your files come through as Smart Chips.
Oh.
What I'm waiting for and what hopefully is coming soon now that they have this piece in there is your ability to do like the timer or the stopwatch or the tasks just to make it easier. Now you can.
But what would you...
Like for us in this or in another webinar in the group chat, because we have that up, being able to pop that timer or be able to pop that stopwatch. That way you can know, all right, now we switch to the next. Is how long we've been on this topic. So that way it's right there instead of looking in a doc or a sheet. And yes, in chat right now, if you hover over a line item and you have those 3 dots next to where it's got your like most used emojis, you can create a task from the 3 dot. I want to be able to add it and create a dot or create a task. Lori does this a ton in our team chat to create.
She's always creating those tasks. Yeah.
So just making that into a Smart Chips, that way it's all right there from that @ command would be.
Hey, hold up. I'm screen sharing. Look at this animation when they @.
Yeah.
There's more than just files.
It is more files. I did see that.
Some other animation.
I don't think it's here yet. Hold on.
It's not, but
it's not here.
But
apps is there now though. If I were to
okay,
it's got Absolute Poll and whatever Agora software is. Oh, it's a chat bot. It's a poll and then there's a chat. I don't know. I've never heard of either one of those. Nor do I know how they get there.
So smart chips coming to chat.
Yeah. So those are going to be coming for all. I'm curious to see what else they go. Did they drop it? I haven't gotten the picture yet. I would have loved it if they would have handed it right to you and took the picture of you smiling. She took the.
He's got it.
Look at this.
Yeah.
This is so
Which
nice.
isn't at the end, Rob. Make sure you get your screenshot.
We'll do one at the end. My hat on.
So not earth shattering, but it's a good building block to bring the rest of them into chat. And like I said, that one you can use personal or work wise.
Yeah, big fan of smart chips over here. In fact, the more I see them used in across applications, the more I like them. The more I see them bleed across to other apps, the more I'm like, okay. Like I just love the directness of getting to where you're going to instead of same reason with like hyperlinking in chat. I love that I can hyperlink text in chat.
It makes me
that should be my one good thing.
I cannot stand super long URLs. I just can't. Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, now I know how to
Eric. And then that extra little image that puts of like the website in there too.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, talk to us really quick about Chrome changes because I saw this when I was putting in here and I don't know what this means, but I think I'm excited about it.
I'm excited about it. I think it's in celebration of birthday coming up. Right. So 15. Yeah, I think it's 15.
Is it 15?
I think so. 15. I remember. I'll never forget. I can't remember exactly when it came out. It had to have been when I was in college though, or at least roughly then, because I remember it was 2008 when I was in school, and someone was telling me to download this new browser called Google Chrome, and it looked really cool because it had all these shiny colors. When you're just used to using Mozilla Firefox, it was something else. So they're celebrating with some redesign. Do the both of you guys use Google Home like I do for all your smart home stuff?
Yes, and now all of my homes are doing
I do not.
Yes, I've got multiple
A's.
You got the A's? Okay, yeah, I understand. So the reason I even say that is if you're familiar with the Google Home app, right? The Google Home app recently, I don't know, probably within the last year, underwent a redesign completely with the Material U. Essentially, Chrome is going to try and get that way now too, right? You could there it is. You could kind of accomplish some of this if you were a savant of the Chrome Web Store, navigating themes and stuff like that. You could try and accomplish this. Now it just seems like Google's going to just straight up implement that design into the browser. Mainly, you're just looking at rounded corners, which I know it makes a difference. But it
makes a difference.
So is this top
the left
one?
is the old, I believe, or no. I'm sorry. The slider one. I'm sorry, Melissa. That one below it. I think you can slide the image. Or maybe it's that one. I can't remember. There should be a slider image somewhere there, and it lets you basically look at the difference between what that. Yeah, I think it's that one. What the old one looked like, maybe, and what the new one does. Yeah. See.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is?
So that's just an example of the Chrome Web Store, then, right? Where you have the Material U design. That's what's coming, and you can tell, right? That looks exactly like Google Home. Oh yeah, that the feature. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking that up too. I
like that feature.
For those of you who are just listening, we're looking at our screen share, and there's this image, this blog post, and I put my cursor over the image, and I scroll to the right, and it's doing a new image.
I'm about to email them and be like, "How can I do that?"
So
that in our articles.
It is largely cosmetic, but there was one key takeaway there that I thought was more tangible than just the cosmetics. And I'm just going to read directly from here. It says Google is also making some updates to its safe browsing tools in Chrome to help you keep safe as you're browsing the web. When you navigate to a potentially dangerous site, Google currently checks that site against a list that's stored locally and updated every 30 to 60 minutes. But in the coming weeks, it will instead check sites against Google's list of bad sites in real time. Right? So a change that could stop you from going to a malicious site that was only created moments before. They're essentially shortening the time by which they're checking against malware sites. They're changing it from a very short 30 to 60 seconds to a no delay.
No time.
As you're navigating the web, they're cross-referencing that malware site. So I thought that was pretty cool. Coming out 15. makes Chrome all the more of a reason that we like it as we do now.
What version? What is this? What version is this?
I don't know if they specified Chrome version. They just it's coming out of part of the Material You update design for 15.
Okay, so this is all a part of that same. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't even know if it even called out a special version. I don't know if they're encompassing this as a part of that or what. But
I just updated mine on my personal device yesterday, and I did not read the pop-ups about it, but I feel like some of those keywords were hit.
Same, yes.
Chrome's got a lot of love this year, I've noticed. So pretty excited about that.
As it should.
I still don't really see too much of a difference.
Well, yes, because you don't see the difference between light mode and dark mode either.
That's true. That's true.
So-
I do too. I do too.
It is a character flaw.
Yeah.
So so here we I'm gonna move on while Melissa heals from the heart wound I just stabbed her with.
Yeah.
I posted this on Monday. Did you guys read this? Yeah. Did you guys read this
Yes.
that I posted in Water Cooler?
No, I'm not in water cooler.
But she's gonna be. Like when I really want to.
No,
really
re-add
want
me.
to. I'm gonna.
I don't
add
do
her.
small talk. What's water? What?
The password.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
password stealing.
Password
give me, like,
stealing
Cliff Notes.
Chrome extension. Let me just put this here. So that way you do have it. Since you're not in Water Cooler, you never even saw it, Melissa.
Yeah.
So let me just highlights here. And this speaks to whenever we're doing our recommendations when we're talking about allow all, block all for staff and students.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We obviously know our reasonings, we have our justifications. This thing just kind of further reinforces why we recommend what we recommend. It says researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison have demonstrated that Chrome browser extensions can steal passwords from the text input fields in websites, even if the extension is compliant with Chrome's latest security and privacy standard, which they call Manifest v3.
Mm-hmm.
So they went as far, and this is what I love about it, they went as far to basically test the theory that, right, because I think we could probably have some idea that, yeah, surely that's happening. That's why, it's app stores or app stores. But they went as far as to like actually build an app that had the ability to steal a password, submitted it to the Chrome Web Store, and it actually went live. Now, they immediately pulled it back down, right? But they were trying to prove a point, which is you absolutely can get a password stealing extension onto the Chrome Web Store. Mm-hmm. And they went on to find that they went on to find that there was at least 12.5% of all extensions in the Web Store had the necessary permissions to exploit that password thing, password vulnerability. And they apparently identified 190 extensions that directly access password fields in plain text.
That's insane.
Now, what's
insane?
I guess I assume that was always possible because depending on the extension, like LastPass is an extension, it needs that permission. So, like, of course, it was always possible. Like,
I think it's the idea that it's so easy. Like, you can just submit it to if I knew what I was doing, I could just submit a password stealing extension to the Chrome Web Store, call it ChatGPT extension thing, and it would look legitimate, but I would still be stealing passwords. Mm-hmm. There's a problem there in verification.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
And there has been for a while, right? I mean, I'm a Google fan, but compared to, iOS, like it's,
I was waiting for her to say Apple.
yeah. Well, no, and we see them trying to do better and force the developers, and they're making the terms of service and information about apps more transparent in the admin console, right? Mm-hmm. The risk assessment card, the verified. But if you've been lenient with these developers with extensions for how many years?
Yeah,
it's hard to.
That Manifest v2 is still out there and supported. They keep kicking that can down the road like Google Sites, so they don't have to come over to v3 yet. They haven't put a deadline on it, which is kind of surprising because as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, Peter and I talked about that, and that's how I found. Yeah, so it's crazy to me that with them being on v3 that they're still having a problem, but a lot of them are still out there on v2, which I'm sure provides additional loopholes too.
So I wonder what, Eric, if Google were to fix this, what would be the fix? Would it be a more thorough?
That's a great point, right? Because part of the openness of that web store is possibly what makes Chrome so robust in the first place, right? It does.
Yeah.
It's not
And
limited that much.
customizable and
Right.
like, I want to replace this image with
Right.
Right.
I'm not
More
saying.
things and
I
stuff.
don't know if I'm bringing this up so much as a rail against Google, because yeah, although I don't think they're as secure as iOS, I think they've made strides in a decade.
Mhm.
I'm bringing this up more to reinforce the allow all block all policy when it comes to how we assign or how we deal with app management in the admin console. So we're looking at
and
the
not
Chrome
for
Web Store
students.
now. These are easy wins. You
Mhm.
block them all. Period. Straight up, no questions. Right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just these are easy wins, and I don't think there's a lot of fighting that probably happens here, because I think that as admins, like it's obviously we said what we want to do,
Well,
but
I mean, you say there's not a lot of fighting, but change. I mean, that culturally, like if you're going from allow all extensions to block over staff, you're saying that's not going to get pushback.
I'm certain that it will. I'm just saying that we need to somehow put this blog
There's a
post somewhere.
legit. Yeah.
Put this blog post next to your justification, and then just
Yeah.
and this is what I would always do. Like when I was in school, I think I even said this once, right? Put the pressure on the superintendent. Put the pressure on the leadership to go.
Oh,
Here's
for
the
sure.
facts.
Yep.
If X happens, you knew about it. Kind
Yeah.
of thing, right? That
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, so that was fun, scary, but good to know.
For sure. All right, so we've got a few minutes left. Let's talk really quick about Duet AI, because I feel like this is one that people keep bringing around, obviously with AI being hot topic. Couple cool updates that have come out. And here's my thing when it comes to Duet AI. It'd be a little controversial here, if we will. So I have a hard time with Duet AI because it's not a paid feature. Like it's an additional paid add-on that you have to pay per user. So in my mind, like, yes, you've got that ease of it being integrated into the core app. So right now they've got it in docs, sheets, and then slides. We have the update that.
Yeah. Can you explain Duet AI?
Yeah, so it's Google's version of like a Chat GPT, Bard. I think there's another one. I think the new update that's coming for slides is kind of taking a hit on Midjourney potentially, but it's their AI version to come into their tools.
Well, in a more holistic way, right? Like
Yeah,
Bard
so
would
kind of
equal.
just there.
Yeah.
So it's not
It's
an
a whole
additional thing
different.
for you to copy and paste from. There is no freemium version of it. It is, like I said, it's not part of a paid version. It's an additional add-on per user. Currently, there is no trial either for education customers.
Hold on.
That was
Was that in the partner briefing? Because
that was in the
because
partner
that's what the.
briefing. Yeah, that's what they said. There's no trial for education or consumer customers. However, you guys said that you were in a lab thing for consumers.
Yeah, like I
So then
forgot what it's
so then
called.
what is it? So then what is this for?
That's for
Workspace Enterprise
the
now
Workspace
available.
Enterprise. Yeah, can get, so like business customers can get it, but there is no education trial. They are offering a 20% discount through the end of the year for people who wanted to try it. But I called this out directly during the partner briefing because in these articles, it just says, go ahead and start your free cost trial.
That's
Until you put in there that your education, and then it's like, so sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad that I had the meetup
Yeah.
yesterday. So I didn't attend that partner briefing. Yeah. It says the Duet AI for Google Workspace Enterprise add-on is available for purchase with the following Google Workspace editions. And then it lists everything and it says fundamental, standard, plus.
Right.
So
if
is
the
it just
school wanted to buy it? Could
If
you?
the school wants to buy it, that's how they would be able to use it. And there is, like I said, there is a 20% discount through the end of the year for them to be able to, but they can't like a try before you buy to see if it's even worth doing that versus continuing to use a Bard or a Chat GPT and copy and paste.
We got to get Google. Tanya's already connected.
There was a lot of pushback in that partner briefing the other day, so I'm curious to see. And they did say that they're still working it out. They're still trying to figure out the best way forward. So hopefully they come around, because me and my budget savviness of where I'm like, oh, be super frugal and budget and be an adult, and then I'm gonna go drop a ton of money on the weekend because I'm in a mood. Like, I'm not gonna spend. I think I think with the discount, it comes out to be like $24 or $25 a user. I'm not going to spend that a month, even for myself,
I would for
to
myself.
use that versus using a free version of ChatGPT to be able to
No.
let me type up my stuff in email or in docs and just copy and paste over. I will fumble through Midjourney to make equally ugly pictures like you do instead of doing it in Sheets and copy and paste that over, download it and upload it.
Okay. Speaking of equally as ugly, so for those of you who are watching on video, this isn't one of the examples. I have so many update slides to make, you guys, because all of these like individual things are coming in. So this one was the create.
Yeah, so you're able to,
images.
one of the updates that rolled is that you're able to create an image from text within slides. So like, this is where I'm like kind of off of the Midjourney that they can put a text in there, and then Duet AI pops up and was like, "Let me help you visualize it," and then it just pops images up of like what your text was. And Melissa's got a slide up here if you're not logged in, and this is something I'm gonna post this in the collaborative for us to talk about.
Hold on, Eric.
Yeah.
Choose a famous actor.
Christian Bale.
Nice.
How do I spell that?
Bale.
What?
Batman.
Andrea.
Yes.
Choose a location.
Michigan. Don't roll your eyes at me.
Okay, well, I'm going to make this
Wisconsin.
Christian Bale.
Minnesota.
Walking in downtown Detroit.
Yeah.
Did I spell that wrong?
You better not. It's on my hat. Oh, it's not on my hat. This line is.
So within.
Yeah. So within within the sidebar that pops out for Duet AI within slides, you can put in text, and you can hit whatever, create, help me visualize. So it's now trying to put images together for you.
So this is where I think Duet AI is going to work, and it's good, is the integratedness. You don't have to go pop out.
You don't have to.
It's right within here, right?
Right.
And so if you're familiar with Midjourney, it's like /imagine Christian Bale walking in downtown Detroit. And so Google's little version of it looks like it's help me visualize Christian Bale walking downtown in Detroit.
That's right. I put a capital on that D.
So we'll do a create, comes out in a little sidebar of the slides. And the one, not the one, but this is probably a bad one anyways.
I know.
Where's his head? Where's his head?
I bet that's probably by design. I bet, you know what I mean? Like,
for those that's listening, we've got Christian Bale and Gene on the sidewalk, but there's
we have Christian Bale.
It gave us two pictures of guys walking down a side street. You see half a building, half a sidewalk with no head. It's just like cut from the neck down. So we don't know if it's Christian Bale. I don't even think that's
it could be Eric Sizemore for all we know.
Yeah,
it's definitely Detroit. They're wearing jackets. And one guy's got gloves on. It's definitely Detroit.
Without wearing a jacket all year round.
I have an ethical question, and Beth has brought this up a couple times when we promote our post in the online community, what to use for a thumbnail. I have been using Midjourney to create stock photos. Like, imagine kids in a classroom with a Chromebook looking happy.
Right.
Generating an original image. Do I have to attribute that?
That was something that came up too, because there's supposed to be watermarks on them. Apparently, Carly caught that, and I haven't seen. Obviously,
that's right.
Or on the other pictures that you did.
That is right. When they were talking during Google I/O, Google made a big deal about doing this responsibly and not rushing into it. And so that is good. That's good to.
Yeah.
It's taken a while for the Batman walking in downtown Detroit eating an ice
it's
eating
failing to
an ice
like
cream.
like I feel like those two pictures. I think it said they came from Facebook, and it just cut the head off to make it seem like it's what you were asking for. But if you see this, I might post a picture of this too. The original thing that she put up here was pickles on pizza. Now, a lot of people that I've heard,
Shout out to Matt from Rockingham.
yeah, about that Rockingham, Virginia. I've seen people do pickles on pizza. My sister loves it. I have not tried it yet. But
Either.
the pictures that came up when Melissa put in pickles on pizza look disgusting. I would never, ever in my entire
Yeah.
life eat any of these pizzas that came out. So
Yeah.
it's just like,
That one in the top
I'll
left
post the
looks like
pictures.
electric eels on top of
That's what I'm
pepperoni.
saying. Yeah, there's just like quarters of them just laying across the top of it.
Oh,
That just
no.
doesn't look good.
That pizza underneath it looks pretty good, though.
Yeah.
It does.
So
Well, it's
if
not
I'm
able to create this fat
comparing, now granted, I have not tried Duet AI in Docs to know how that compares against the stuff that ChatGPT gives you as far as content. I'm not impressed with Duet AI at this point. Obviously, we couldn't even
How
get
much have you
I couldn't even get
tried?
a picture. They're trying.
No. How much have you tried? Have you tried doing?
No, because I'm on the wait list.
Okay, well then you can't.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you can't say you're not.
I'm
impressed if
basing
you
mine
can't-
off of what I've seen you just do,
Well,
and
you
then
can't share with me.
other examples that I have found. So I think it'll be interesting to see how well this does. I think AI in any capacity. Rob, once this gets to you, what was the question that got brought up the other day is, and I didn't see it in the partner briefing, is if this is going to be available for Canada. Because I think
Oh, we got to answer that. Yep.
I think Bard is still not available for you. I don't think
Yeah.
ChatGPT is available. So I don't know if Duet AI will be available.
It's got to say
Does it
got to
say?
say in the articles. I'm sure. Well, I guess I can't say because the trial thing was wrong. Andrea, did you already mention? Is there an age limit? Is there
There is, and I think this might be part of the issue when it comes to the trials and things like that. It is only 18 and
So what does that indicate to? So to me, that indicates that Duet AI, at least right now, this is meant to be an adult thing. This is meant to be to save teachers time to get started on their newsletter format or the admin assistant or you as a super admin IT
assignments and stuff.
Giving you time back to do the more innovative stuff, which makes sense to me.
Correct.
I mean,
and we have a lot of higher ed interest in it, apparently, which obviously makes sense. They don't have to worry about that. But I do think that's part of the issue with the education is because it's only meant for staff and kids are going to want it. Did it give you? She's so feeds.
It gave me.
I actually think that blow that up.
What? Why is his face like that?
That might be. Those are. That actually might be downtown. Actually, if I'm being fair.
But hold on, there's no ice cream.
I don't see no ice cream.
I clearly said eating an ice cream cone.
You did say eating. It just put Batman. It finally let it put Batman
trash.
downtown Detroit with some backspace and stuff.
So I have a question on Duet AI though. Do we know? Okay, it's an add-on. Like, is it an assignable license then?
I would have to assume it has to
what did they
say? By an email or something because it's a headcount thing.
Yeah.
So can I buy 3?
That's what I'm saying. It has to be like teaching. Is it like teaching and learning? You just buy
You
however
have to assign it to somebody. Yeah.
Okay. So
I mean,
you can't assign. So then 18 plus only. Does that mean it would restrict you from assigning a license to a student account? Then I guess I'm just wondering how they are going to assign that to.
I think anybody who's probably in an org that's listed as under 18.
Oh, you know what? And in the admin console, there's an add-ons page.
Yeah.
Like
global dial-in and stuff like that. Like those are
Google Voice. How does that get assigned? Is that
voice? The voice is licensed. That's why I was wondering, is this doing the same way? Because that's what was confusing me was if it is licensed, it would be the first time I would know of a license not assigning to a user under 18. Right? Like if it's 18 plus only, I don't know of any behavior right now of a license you assign to a user under 18 where it won't let you do it. Which means if this is a license assignment, it says it's only for 18 only. Is that technically it's only 18 only? Or if you give it to someone who's over 18, you're breaking terms. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
No, so
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see what's to come. I know we asked to see if we would be able to get some licenses for us to play with, and they are gonna enable it on the partner demo at some point too for us to do within there. So it won't get it, but
I want to see what it does for the admin console. Is this an all or nothing? Does this add in now a green flag in the
right.
Google Doc settings? I
Mm.
want to know about my controls.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there. Oh, somebody did ask if there's an API for it, and at this point, there's not. Which I thought
What
was a
would
little
you
bit
do with
weird,
the
but I'm also
API?
not surprised. Somebody asked if there was an API, probably for management, maybe to get the reporting on what they're doing with it.
Duet
But right now,
worker
because
for
yeah, that's
Duet.
the question too: is what are they doing with the Duet AI? What are they
Yeah.
creating? Where are they putting it? Yeah,
Skynet.
I need to read
here's
up on
who's
all
doing a
these blog
Duet.
posts about what, because Duet AI is a bunch of stuff put together.
Yeah,
Got to figure out. Maybe I'll do a whole section on that in this update stream.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, more to come. I still have to watch that partner briefing from yesterday, and I know Tanya had already gotten on the ball to. I want to get just like 30 minutes of Google's time, maybe to come on for the collaborative and ask these different questions. Hopefully, that will be coming shortly.
Mm-hmm.
The trial thing, though.
I'm disappointed in that. If
Do
I'm
you
honest,
think it's
it
a
doesn't make any sense.
technical reason?
No. To me, like, unless it is the management part of it, but you have to think that for an enterprise and education, the management would be the same.
What did they say when people said like, "What? No trial"?
Yeah, they just said there's no. They were almost like definitive. Yep, no trial, but they can get 20% off if they buy. Like it was like
We gotta
yeah.
find out the reason. Like, if they give you a trial in education, can you not take it back? Or like,
So and maybe that's. I can't even say that it would be the same like how we do with Little Sis Premium, where you can't create your classes on the trial because you could use Duet AI to create your docs, your emails, but then it's not like it's a one and done. Like you're
no,
gonna
Right.
no,
like it
not at
and you're
all.
gonna
I
keep
know.
using it.
No.
Yeah.
know.
So I don't foresee a reason to not give it unless it's just trying to figure out the management or the legal aspects of it. But you're also able to buy it straight out the gate too. So
Well, I would buy it. This is one of those things where I'm like, "Yep, I'll subscribe. I'll
Yeah, I
put
mean,
it on Benson."
I would buy it. Yeah,
can I get
it
those
saves me
digits?
time.
Let's start a school and get our own domain so like we can just
Let's do it.
Do
try
all
it
these
all
things.
together.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do it.
So more to come on
I'm down
that.
for it.
Thanks for giving us the skinny on the.
Yes.
I missed that trial one. I was just looking at the availability.
Yeah, they
buy
need to
it.
update the blog post because it's very misleading.
And it's correct.
It's correct for
But
for enterprise, but it should say like in quotes or like parentheses or something afterwards, enterprise only. Because consumers are gonna get put on a wait list. In education, you're gonna get a sorry, no soup for you type of a thing. So all right. So now that we all have our cups, obviously there's nothing in Eric's cup just yet. But what's make believe in your cup? I was trying to think of a big word for it and I couldn't get there.
I had so many good things in my cup this week. I'm not gonna reveal them all because I kind of want to save them for
I'm gonna bank those for next
future.
time.
Yeah, I'm gonna bank some things in my cup here. So I
Yeah.
will call out one though.
Yeah.
I will call it one. I don't know if you guys. Let me see. I have a link here, Melissa. If you wanted to bring it up, it's called Beeper. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. So let me just explain to you something that I have like. I have theories about everything in life, right? I have philosophies about everything in life. I have a way I see the world. And one of the biggest problems I've had my entire life is all of the different platforms I have to message are all separated, which leads to the trillions of tabs, multiplicities of apps that I have, things like that. And most notably, iMessage. iMessage is the stub toe of messaging apps because it just refuses to like work with you, right? And so this company, this startup is claiming to be able to consolidate all of your messaging systems, apps, into one app including iMessage. If
That's
they can do that
yeah, that's
with
very
iMessage, because iMessage is the game changer there, right?
yeah.
If they can get iMessage in there, this is a huge deal, like massive. For me,
Yeah.
it's a massive deal because there are certain devices I buy specifically so I can text message on them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I do like
Who,
Melissa
how
doesn't answer
many
text messages. She
people
mutes
are
everything.
you texting and messaging and
it's well, I try not to text anyone honestly because I get too many pings during the day. But what I don't like, I hate typing on my phone. I hate typing on my phone. Despise it. So
Yeah.
anytime I can, I got a keyboard somewhere that I can attach to
It
something.
just
And so like
throws on to something. Yeah.
MacBook or iPad or whatever, I'm avoiding any way I can to avoid typing
okay.
on my phone.
Mhm.
And most of the typing that I do on that is obviously text messages. So if this app can bring it in, and then I could load this app, say in a browser tab,
Yeah.
No,
wonderful.
can you like? Is that part of the solution? Is that it's web based?
I know. That's a good question. I know there's an
That because
app.
if it doesn't, that means that's a deal breaker for you, right? Because that the whole
Not
point is,
not necessarily because the app would be cross platform too.
Yeah.
Let me see here
you
on
know,
FAQ.
It does say app. Yeah. Because my thing is all the notifications. I'm so bad. Like they give me anxiety. And my problem is I will go and read something strictly to clear the notification off my phone and then I will forget. And
Yeah,
I
same,
won't respond,
same.
or I'll respond out loud, like as if somebody could hear me from the States. And then
Yeah.
an hour or 3 weeks later, someone's like, "Hey, remember that text?" I'm like, "No."
See, and like this, like send scheduled messages. This is
That's
if I could schedule send a text message. Oh my gosh.
I'm
that
surprised that's not a thing now,
Changed my
honestly.
life
Yeah.
because it just like
that
you said, Andrea, like there are times where I get a text message, I have acknowledged it, but I have not digested it. And
Mhm.
sometimes I have the opportunity to respond right then, but I don't want to send it right then because it's gonna then require me to do another action immediately thereafter.
or it's
I
like
want to
early
Right.
in the morning because you
Mhm.
went to bed at 8 p.m., 7:15 last night. I'm like, oh, it's 4. I don't want to
right.
look like a yeah.
Right. Or it's like,
Exactly.
I'm angry
Exactly.
right now. I need to take a walk before I reply. And then
Oh,
by the time
it
I
Yeah,
goes
that
that
reply,
too.
way.
like it's already out of my mind. Yeah.
Hey, Eric, do you watch The Office?
I love The Office.
Isn't this
Woof.
woof?
This is Wolf. This is Woof. You just got a wolf. There's not a fax machine on here. She's so right, though, Melissa. This is Wolf. This is what this is. Anyway, I signed up for the beta. I'm on the wait list, but once I get in there, if I get in, I'll let you guys know how it
Let's
goes.
Yes.
also
Let us know, because
deeper
that would be
to
very
like
interesting.
yeah, I definitely check in with us and our listeners to see how it's going.
For
I
sure.
just put my phone on do not disturb
She
and
does.
then you can just mute the group texts, individual ones.
Hmm. And then like 2 weeks later, she'd be like, "Why is nobody answering me? Why?
She
Why
muted
never?
all of her
never-
I
friends.
miss all of you."
Yeah, I'll get like really like amped up and I'll like say a bunch of things and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm done. Stop. Okay. All right, well, that's a good one. I feel that's a very passionate one good thing, Eric. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I hope this works out for you.
And
Let
a
us know.
potential game changer, honestly, if it's executed correctly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised this concept hasn't already.
So it's tried to exist, and like this is not my first foray into this
Okay.
thing. Like
He
I
said
have
this is the only one I'm backing right
this has
now.
been like a 20-year journey for me. Okay, like
Okay.
I have been trying to find, and so like this is like just the most promising of late. iMessage has been a tough cookie to crack, but I
Yeah.
have hopes for Beeper. So let's go.
All
I
right.
love that it's called
Hashtag
Beeper
beeper.
too.
Yeah, I know we do Beeper. Harken back to the 90s. Let's
Right. All right, Melissa, what's in your cup?
What's in my cup? This is a nerdy one, or it's not like a fun off-topic one. It is a tip for you as an admin, as a Google admin. But it's been in my head lately because I've been doing the meetups, and I'll be demoing the game changer of being able to instantly reboot your Chromebook. Every time that I go into the every time that I go into the admin console and I go into the device area and I show like this is where you can reboot,
Mhm.
always like one or two members will say, where I don't see capture logs in mine. How did you get capture logs in there? So for you people watching the video, if you go into the device listing, go into your device, and then to that device record, you'll see move, reboot, capture logs, remote desktop, reset, disable. Well, that capture logs only shows if you have enabled that setting. And the setting by default is going to be off. It's not a new setting or anything like that, but it oftentimes gets forgotten.
Is it in the telemetry stuff?
No, this
That's
isn't.
separate?
This is in I'll put this in the show notes as well, but it's in the device settings, and it is called device system log upload in your device settings. We'd recommend that you go ahead and just enable that at the top level. But once you enable device system log upload, then when you go into your device record, you see capture logs. You can click on that. It captures all the logs. And what kind of logs are they? Well, Lisa McAdams in the community has a really great use case. And she said that they use system logs stored in the Chrome device settings to identify when the Chrome OS recovery mode button has been triggered. It's stored in the event log.txt and timestamped. So like in this case, there was like probably a student that was doing the recovery mode, wiping it. They're like, no, I'm not doing that. Well, if you had the capture logs enabled, you can get those logs, and it gives you a zip file and with a bunch of different files. This information would be in that event log.txt.
What an excellent use
Google
case.
Log Analyzer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it gives you, even if it gets wiped, it gives you that device information in there to get more granular info.
You're saying even if the device was wiped, you're still able to get those logs.
You get all of the, yep.
Where the logs get stored that they don't get wiped? The cloud.
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe it's still somewhere on the device?
I'm saying because I know it's somewhere in that memory bit that holds it.
Yeah, I'm not the best in, where some of that stuff is like already stored, but so I looked that into the show notes, but that one is often forgotten. And every time I do a demo, somebody says, "Why don't I see capture log?"
Yeah, I'm thinking Gopher's in here for something.
So that's mine.
Okay.
Nice.
How about you, Andrea?
Mine is
your cup.
Not technical because it's a short week and I've had enough tech. So mine is a hashtag Detroit versus everybody. So again, just plug in the win from the Lions. I finally made it to FedEx to get their cups out. So those are my wins. Those are my good things. Filling my
got them.
Okay.